Hello and welcome. My name is Melody from Melody Crochet, and today I come to you from my home in Texas with episode 37 of the Melody Crochet Knit and Crochet podcast. Thanks so much for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, those are always welcome down below in the comment sections, or as any one of my social media that is also linked down below. I have a blog, MelodyCrochet.com. I make patterns, I review yarn, I make other people's patterns, I talk about it, pretty much everything about my yarn obsessed crazy life here in Texas. I also have two puppies. Hopefully they're not going to be too loud. We're in the living room today and the floors are hard, so there's the tap tap tapping. It's been a little bit since I have last spent any time with you guys. I'm so glad to be back, but oh my goodness, what a crazy February. This is birth month, so I do celebrate all month long. And first off, my son got engaged. And then I have my 10-year wedding anniversary, and we had Valentine's Day, and yesterday was my birthday. It has been a wild and crazy ride, but I kept everything aside so I could make sure and be able to share with you. I just could not get myself to have a moment alone to actually get my head straight, but one project really inundated the entire time, so I really don't think you missed much. I know I didn't. A month ago-ish, I promised to make some hats for family, and they're up in Minnesota, and it is super cold. So I got one ball of yarn each. It's the Brown Sheep Lanaloft, which I love. Let's see, I think I have an extra ball of it right here. And I love this yarn. I love this yarn. I mean, this stuff is amazing in my opinion. It comes in a million colors. It is one twisted strand, and it feels really woolly and earthy and wonderful, and I can't get enough of it. So I don't know that I go to the yarn store in Farmersville very often without picking up a ball of this stuff. I love it. So I knew I wanted to use that yarn to make the hats. And so I went and I picked out all the colors because each of the family members, there was 5 of them, picked out a certain color. So I went in and picked out my color of yarn. I knew that if I crocheted them, I would need 2 balls of yarn each because they aren't very big. And the adult hats would be just over. I was thinking maybe an accent color, kind of tie them all together, but I decided not to and to just knit them instead. Knitting takes a little bit less yarn. So it seemed like a great idea. My hands were tired from the crochet from Christmas. It all added up until I realized it takes me about an hour and a half to crochet a hat, and it takes me several days to knit one. And if I'm bored with the project, it takes that many more days. So it took me, I'd say, about a month. I finally finished them a couple days ago, and after that, my Crojo was just dead. All my yarn Joe was dead. My yarn Joe was gone, and that is sad. But I am very excited to share them with you. I have started a new little project, and I have some things on the way. So we're just going to chit chat about that. I'll share what I picked up for my holiday celebrating and my plans for the future, and then we're going to call it. It's probably going to be a pretty short, sweet podcast, but I'm just glad to get back in front of the camera and say hi and see how you're all doing. Please leave down below. I got a birthday present. It's an Instant Pot. I made meatloaf and mashed potatoes today, and it was awesome. But if you have any suggestions for recipes for that, I would love to hear them, healthy or not. I tend to eat healthier, but I have the guys here, so I can always find somebody who will eat something if it's a little less than healthy. You know what I mean? It doesn't all have to be chicken breast, but I can't wait to try that in there. This was ground beef, of course. Well, not of course, but for the meatloaf. And I put the potatoes underneath. It was so fascinating. I made a meatloaf in half an hour. I was shocked. But, oh, I also got a shirt. One of the Amazon wish lists that I've had on my wish list for a little bit, and I love it. It's purple, so fits right in with the wardrobe. Everything will be linked down below. If you have any questions or comments, I always try and insert the notes and anything that's linkable in the comments. And usually I try and put them on the blog too, but I don't worry so much about that. I figure if they're actually in the comments, the people who are looking on the phone and the people who are looking on PC and such will be able to access them, and whatever's easiest. Let me know if that works for you though. Let's get to it. Hats. First off, this mint one is for my hat. I haven't started it yet, but I do love mint, and they have a cute name for this. Southern Breeze. Isn't that pretty? I can't wait to start my hat. But this is a worsted weight, and these are all going to be made out of the same yarn. It's all Lanaloft worsted weight, 100% wool. It is moth proofed, but not chemically treated to be washed. So I have to put some labels on this. I'm gonna double or triple up. I think I mentioned this last time when I was first starting them, but I need to double or triple up and let them know they can't go in the machine to be washed or dried, or they're gonna turn into doll hats basically. 160 yards for 100 grams. They suggest a size 8 needle. My hats were done on a size 7 needle. I will show that to you guys. This is the basket that I carried them around with until they were finished. They went absolutely everywhere with me. I have no issues knitting and crocheting in front of people. I think I feel kind of awkward when I'm not knitting and crocheting with people. So they probably think it's a lot weirder than I do. Let's collect them. Okay, so first off, my nephew, he's the youngest in the family, and he wanted orange. Isn't that beautiful? This is their marmalade color. I could not get enough of this. This one probably went the fastest, plus it was the smallest, bonus, right? And, oh, so pretty. And you can see my little stitches there. They're not perfect, but the yarn totally makes up for it because the yarn gets bigger and smaller, and it's single strand spun. So it kind of makes up for the fact that my stitches aren't perfect because they're not supposed to look perfect, right? And this is the dad's, my brother-in-law. He has the Highland green, which is just beautiful. I did some extra rib on his hat just to make it look a little bit more masculine, I thought. I will put down all the dimensions on the notes for the project on Ravelry and the blog, more than likely. And I'll let you guys know where that is. Just follow the links. And this, and by the way, I made up the pattern. It's pretty basic. I know that with my size 7, 96 stitches fits a guy on my gauge. So I have that actually on my needle case, the one that holds my size 7. That way I can know for sure what an adult size hat goes for. For the women, I just did 4 stitches less, which is about an inch less of hat, and I made them longer. I used my hand to measure the length. My hand is 7 inches. So the guy's hat, I went to about 8.5, 10 inches before I started my decreases, which I'll talk about in a second. But this is for his wife, my sister-in-law, and my husband says that she always loved bright, bright pink. So I made the women's hats just a little bit shorter on the brim to make them a little bit more feminine looking. Aside from that, they're exactly the same. This is the Cheery Cherry. This is for their younger daughter in the bridal pink. She has a fairer complexion, so I think that the lighter pink will look nice. She just said pink. Both my sister-in-law and their youngest daughter said pink. So I figured I'd make them different just for fun, right? So this is the bridal pink, and I made it very similarly, just about 4 stitches less because she's smaller. So this would be about 88 stitches. My decreases are crazy, and we'll talk about how unplanned and wild they are in a moment. And this is for their older daughter. And these decreases are even crazier. But this is the ruby red, and I just thought that was so pretty. I weaved in the ends. I see an extra one here. Oh, I weaved in the end. I didn't snip it yet though. All ends are woven in, and I'm not going to block it. I just think they look just fine without it. But looky! This one was particularly big to small, and I like it all the more for that. Gorgeous colors. And they keep the color so nicely. I don't know what they do to make the dye hold, but it's beautiful. Now, as far as my decreases, basically I started off really aggressive, and then I got super aggressive. So I start off taking in a stitch on both sides after I divide the hat into 6. So I just divide it up on DPNs. Then I divide it before and after the markers, I decrease. And then I just go crazy after about 6 or 7 rows of that, and I decrease every other stitch, and then I decrease every stitch after that until I have hardly anything left. So it's pretty blunt. It's pretty crazy. But this is the kid's hat, and it's big enough for an adult. So no harm, no foul. And the guy's hat is all the beefier. And it's nice and slouchy. So I'm done. All done. Okay. But I'm really happy to have moved on from that, because knitting is not my cup of tea. I really wish, come back to me, hair, come back to me. I really wish I had just crocheted them. Really, really wish I had. This is the basket. These are my leftovers that are going to be a slouchy hat and mittens for me in a very scrappy fashion. I'm pretty excited. I think I might need to go grab some blue to throw in there though, because I think that would be really pretty, just to balance them out. These are the little baskets I get at Hobby Lobby. They're there right now. They have them out every springtime. And I was about to grab another hot pink one, but I have a big turquoise one and I have a smaller, that's my medium-sized green one. I don't think I need too many more of those. I might change my mind if they get on a really good sale, but they weren't high priced. It was just a matter of space. I don't like to have more stuff than I need. Then I have this one in the works. My husband asked me to make one for his boss. Oh, come here. Found you. So I've started crocheting one. This is on an eye hook though, and I think it's looking a little bit open. Don't you think? I think so. So we might have to go even smaller on the hook size there. And this is with the cool ash gray. I love that color though. Super pretty. So even though I started it on the eye hook, I'm probably going to move on to an H. I don't think I'll go too much smaller than that, because the yarn does tend to bloom just a little bit, which means the actual strand of yarn puffs up. You can tell it on the hats because the stitches look like that. Hey stitches. And then the strand looks like that. See how puffy it looks? That strand at the end there that's hanging out. It really blooms quite a bit. I have to get those packed up and put them in the mail. If any of you guys know me, I'm the worst at mailing. That is the hardest part for me. You wouldn't think so, but it is. And my new project, since I finished that, I have a few more things that I need to do for family. My husband and younger son have requested a couple more hats for the winter because it has gotten super cold. We're going to be warming up now, and fortunately the trees are actually starting to bloom. My front yard tree that I got as a baby is actually blooming. I'm so excited. She did not die over the cold winter. Every time she comes back, I'm so excited. But a good friend of ours is up in far northern Canada. Super cold up there. So I am making him a scarf because unfortunately a dog ate his scarf. Can you believe that? So that is the scarf that I'm making. It looks a lot more open because it's in linen stitch, worsted weight yarn on an eye hook. But really, if you don't have the light behind it, it looks rather closed up. There he goes. He's super pretty. So that will be ready to send off probably tonight. I started this morning. I just finally got the will to yarn on from the hats. This weekend I just didn't even think about it. I went to a few yarn stores for fun, but that's collecting, not making. The urge to make was not with me this weekend. After finishing those hats, I was just like, yeah, no thank you. I took a little time off, but the urge is strong. So I'm making this in woolies. Here's one. Lion Brand woolies. This is my second ball. I'm halfway done. I have this much left. I have 23 3 inches made. I'm really hoping that it looks like a scarf by the time I finish. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go get more of this. It was one of those times when I went around looking for yarn a little too hard. I went to a couple Michaels, I went to Walmart, I wandered around, and I finally found it at Joann's. Unfortunately, Joann's is kind of far for me. So if I run out of yarn for this tonight, I have to go to Joann's tomorrow, which doesn't sound terrible, but I'd much rather go to a clothes store because our weather right now is bleh, just cold and slushy. So wish me luck. Hopefully this scarf looks really long and will be beautiful with just 2 skeins of yarn. Okay, and I think I mentioned it, but I'm using an eye hook on that, which is a size 9, 5.5 millimeter, and it is my tulip, and I'm loving it on the Woolies by Lion Brand. It is moving very, very nicely. Where is he? There he is. Nope, this is my J hook. I chained with my J hook to avoid any puckering, and then picked up the work with the eye hook. I'll put that in there for later though, just so it doesn't get lost. Now, whew, that's all I have for the making. It's kind of my focus. I'm getting this family stuff out of the way so I can have some fun. And what do I have? I have this hat to make. This Cascade 220 in this beautiful green color. It only has a number though. What's its number? 801. My husband picked that out of my stash and asked me to make that into a hat for him. He'd also like a couple others of yarn that he doesn't care about. He just says it's cold. So he has to leave while it's so cold and dark and ooh, so cold. So I'm definitely getting that done as soon as I finish the scarf. I feel the urgency on that scarf because he's so far north. It's so cold and he has no scarf up there. That's terrible. Okay. Let's talk shopping. Now, I mentioned I had a good deal of little personal holidays, and my husband took about 5 days off to celebrate the birthday anniversary extravaganza. So we'll start in order. First, my son got engaged. We love her. We're so excited. Now we get to plan a wedding. First thing I was thinking, aside from yay, is wedding shawls. I'm gonna need one. There might be some giftings of one. So I've been looking at yarn to not really use for the wedding shawl because I don't know what I'll be wearing. I don't know what her colors are for sure. We have some ideas, but until she really knows for sure, I don't want to like make any gifts or anything like that. But I do want to start working on a pattern for it. So I'm over at Farmersville and I'm looking at the yarn, and this is from Fiber Lady, who I've been to the store. Fiber Lady, they are wonderful people. David gave us a tour. It was really nice, but as we were finishing up our visit with him, some other people came in because it was the yarn crawl. So that's a busy time for them, of course. And I didn't want to interrupt him to buy one hank of yarn while he was talking to somebody who might buy more than one hank of yarn, and I figure I'll just buy it online if I want to, and I never did. That was over a year ago. So I went ahead when I saw this in Farmersville. I went a little nuts. Now this is the lavender mist color. It is very muted lavender, light gray, and that shine is insane. Can you see that? Oh, it's beautiful. Now it's less than a sock weight, not quite a lace weight, because for the 100 grams for lace weight, you usually get about 800 yards, and for the sock weight, you usually get 400 yards, and this is 650 yards for just over 100 grams. So it's kind of like a halfway between lace and sock weight. Amazing. 100% rayon bamboo luxury yarn. My complaint about it, the only reason I was thinking about not getting it, squeezing it gives the feeling of hook squeak. You know how you get some yarns on your hook and you just feel it kind of drag and you can feel it in your bones? That's what it feels like when I squish this yarn. It's not soft and fluffy like wool. There's no compacting. It just feels like it's kind of rubbing against itself, and it gives a little tooth to it. But I figure I'm not going to be rubbing it against itself while I'm using it, and I was just so curious, and the color is so pretty. It'll be a lot of fun to work with while I'm playing with shawl ideas. So this is some play yarn. I can't wait to ball it up. I'll share what it is, but they call it musu. Mausu. I'm guessing Mausu. Maybe. What else does it say on the side? It says the color Lavender Mist, approximately 650 yards for 4 ounces / 113 grams. They suggest using a size 2. I imagine that is needles. 19 to 24 wraps per inch. Wow, they really get into it. Weaving set at 24 EPI. I have no idea what that means. Do you guys know what that means? Help me out here, weavers. And if it were a pound, it would be 2,600 yards per that pound. Very interesting. They went above and beyond. But Fiber Lady is wonderful people. I think this was about $25. So it was definitely a splurge, but I'm going to get lots and lots of time with this. It's not just going to be like a normal, hey, knit up a shawl real quick. I'm going to have some serious time playing with this, probably a few different patterns. So that being said, double yay. I had shown you a sweater that I was going to knit. I've since decided to crochet it. It was going to be with Himiko, Madeline Tosh, and it's just a deep blue inky purple, and I'm going to be pairing that up with a sock weight that is called, well, Madeline Tosh, also Eurosock in hydroponic, which is basically this in sock weight. So I went over to McKinney and I saw that they had the same colorway in bulky. Is it bulky or super bulky? I think it's just bulky. Yeah, bulky weight, 110 yards for the 100 grams. This is 100% wool, and I'm going to make a hat to match my sweater. And then I'm going to use this for a pom-pom. So it'll have a little dark purple pom-pom. The rest I'm going to need in the sweater, because if I'm going from the plan of knitting to crocheting, I'm going to need a little extra yarn. So now I have a 4th Himiko and some bulky weight yarn to match. I'm going to be the most matchy-matchy human on the face of the earth. But I'm super excited, and I just love that yarn so much. It's too pretty. Look at them. Look at them together. They're lovely. Okay. And Valentine's Day, I got a present. My husband went to Hobby Lobby for me, and he got me yarn. Looky. Isn't that pretty? Almost looks like they match her, but they don't. These are kind of a raspberry color. It's called Berry. And I love this yarn. And this is called, is it Cherry? I forget. What was your name? Crimson Swirl. So this is kind of an orangey red. And this is kind of a purpley berry. When you put them together, they look super close. He got me 2 of these also. And then I'm going to make a blanket out of both of them. Maybe a corner to corner. I thought that'd be fun. And then last but not least, another thing, the girl that my son is marrying, Amber, she likes colors like this. So I'm thinking we're gonna make her a little surprise scarf. It'll be good for spring, but we have the blushy color and the burgundies, and this is just a big old ball of shawl and a ball, but we're gonna be making a scarf. She's not really a shawl gal, but she is a scarf gal. I think she'll really like it. And the shawl and a ball this is Community Coral. They have a little weight. They show how the colors work up right there. And it has a little bit of cotton in it. How much? 515 yards for 150 grams. It's 58% cotton, 39% acrylic, and 3% other fibers. I'm always curious about the other fibers. But that is about all from me. That's all I've been working on. Let me know down below what you might have been working on lately. I'm very, very curious to hear. I'm always up for ideas of what to make next. Super excited to finish up all the family obligation making and get back to the fun. Am I right? Because spring is the best time to get back into the fun. All the colors are so pretty. All the new yarn is out. Let me know if you've seen any new yarn that you'd love me to test out on the channel. Aside from that, thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. I'll see you quick.